All right. Hey guys, welcome. This is Mr. Hardcore Mode where nothing's easy. Here with a reaction video on masculinity in games. And it's by a guy named, what's his name? Andy Pants Gaming. And man, wow, he's only got that many subscribers. But he made the most bomb video that has 1 million views. So, of course, he might be speaking some truths in here. We're going to go ahead and watch this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and do it. He might have some pointers. He might have some things that I agree with. This picture says it all, though. But let's go ahead and, yeah.
I feel like masculinity has slowly...
Louder. Let me do a little bit louder. Hopefully it's enough. It's good enough for all of you. Let me know if it's too loud.
been drained from... Does anybody else feel like masculinity has slowly been drained from modern video games?
Yes, sir.
I was looking at recent staff photos of Ubisoft and Halo Infinite developers, and it's all starting to make sense. It's a bunch of fat white liberal women and white...
We're only 15 seconds in. We're only 15 seconds in, and I'm already gonna like the video. I already did it. Okay. All right. I usually like videos when I want to see them again. I never hit the watch later button. I don't know. I don't like that button. I don't know. Let's continue.
Liberal women have no interest in masculine, manly, male characters. They wouldn't even know how to write one if they tried.
True.
This is why rocks...
That's true. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this. When it comes to a war, stay hydrated, my friends. When it comes to a war, sort of a war-torn world or something apocalyptic, or when it comes to war films, or when it comes to veterans, when it comes to war, I put it all on the men. I put all my chips on black, just to men, because they know how to pull off that story. If I want to do a comedy, maybe the ladies. I still think the men... Still haven't found a really funny comedian that's a female. When it comes to romance, then we can talk. Maybe Pixar, Disney, then we'll talk. But when it comes to war films or movies, games, I'm going to have to rely on men. But when you give me a whole bunch of blue-haired bitches who look like they've been enjoying way too much Starbucks... and they know everybody that works at Starbucks. I don't think I'm actually gonna get a good, solid game or story out of them.
Star, a company founded by men that at least in 2018 was still mostly run by men, created the magnum opus Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes,
a
they
game
did.
with a manly, well-written main protagonist,
My boy Arthur
Morgan. If you want to see the seismic shift away from masculine characters, honestly, all you need to do is play a few games from 2006, and
that is exactly what we've been doing lately. We have been playing Dragon Age Origins. We have been playing KOTOR 2. Maybe we'll play Neverwinter Nights. Maybe that might have some weight to it. But there has been some Halo games. There's been some old games that have been like, damn, it's like, it feels good. It feels good. It was for gamers, by gamers, and it just felt good. And they were all men. All men. And guess what? Most of them didn't like it up the butt. You know, but it's not really too much of a gay thing. It's more of a manly thing. Like when you play Gears of War, you're not thinking of gay shit. You're not thinking of anything. You're just thinking of sawing the next motherfucker that comes out of that little corner over there. That's all you're thinking about. Not fucking battle passes and rainbow bullshit and you know, trying to figure out if the robot is a he, them, they, their. That's not what we did back then. That's not what we did. It was simple and it was pure.
you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Consider how many masculine military games came out in the 2000s. Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Brothers in Arms, Gears of War.
Yes, Medal of Honor, Brothers in Arms. I did play Call of Duty War at War, but I was mostly Medal of Honor and Brother in Arms.
Flashpoint, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell.
Rainbow Six 3. Awesome game.
So, all of these games were...
Splinter Cell! How do you not make another Splinter Cell game? How do you not do that? We've been yelling. How long have we been yelling for another Splinter Cell game, and they just said, no.
Starring men and had themes like brotherhood, duty, sacrifice, honor. Almost all of these franchises have either been killed off, turned into multiplayer games,
especially
or went
Splinter
woke.
Cell.
I often wonder why so few modern games appeal to me.
Who the fuck is this character? Is this Apex? What the fuck is this?
And I think another big reason is this. Everything is just so gay now. Compare the games I just mentioned to the modern trash we have to deal with in Overwatch and Apex. Almost every character in these new games is either gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, or something else. Like, what happened to a masculine dude with a hot chick on his arm?
Dude, I have not seen that in such a long time. I think Lae'zel was the closest thing, or maybe Pan Am was the closest thing. Lae'zel and Pan Am were probably the closest I'll ever get to feeling that feeling in any sort of like thing like that.
I love the idea of Xbox Game Pass, but I swear every time I open it up and look for new games, there's just so many games that look gay now. I refuse to play another cutesy 2D platformer.
We're gonna leave No Man's Sky alone, okay? You leave No Man's Sky alone. And Valheim.
Or a game with a cutesy art style by some indie developer anymore. I'm just done with these games. If you...
I'm partly to blame because I played my time at Sandrock, but I guarantee you the gameplay in my time at Sandrock was good to where I totally forgot that it was cute shit. I totally forgot.
You want my 100% real...
Now, some of these games, Wasteland Remastered, that's a good game. That's a good game. But this From Space Starbound shit, what the fuck is this? Death's Door?
Thoughts on this? I just think the entire video game industry has gone woke and gay, and almost nothing they are making appeals to me in any way anymore. So this is...
I'm just wondering something here. Why is it... I'm sorry that I'm pausing the video a lot, but why is it that there's so much... I know why DEI, Bridge, and everybody that... It's only 5% of the developers that are saying it. And the rest of the developers are just like, I just want to make good games. They're probably heterosexual or whatnot. But the rest of them, but the 5% are the loudest ones. But here's the thing, though. It is not the fact that they're putting gay shit in the game. It's the fact that they just want you to fucking see it. It's one thing to just have a, like it's just one thing to have like a character that you just up and just didn't know that they were gay. Like you rarely see that now, but nowadays they just, hey, you see this? Hey, you see this? Hey, you see this? Hey, you see this? Hey, you see? Shut up. Shut up. I see it. Jesus fucking Christ. That's the sort of feeling that you get when you should be really concentrating on the majority of the players who are just men. They would like a masculine like character to portray. They can't do it with fucking all we got is the Doomslayer. I think that's the only video game character, maybe Kratos. Kratos and the Doomslayer are the only two, Arthur Morgan are the only three characters that are holding down like the amount of like respectable top tier masculine characters in games right now. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is already gone, so you're not going to get a Red Dead Redemption 3 until 15 years later. Doom, it has a game coming soon, and it's still staying to the same flavor. Kratos, if we're getting another Kratos God of War game, you're not playing as Kratos. And that's when people, I don't care how many times you've played as Atreus in God of War Ragnarok, people care about Kratos. Ain't nobody care about Atreus. They're like, ah, yes, my boy. And then they want to move on back to Kratos. I have a strong feeling in the third game, you just played Atreus.
This is why I mostly play 20-year-old games on my channel, because they were just better. But like I said before, I feel like they're just pushing it. It's the difference between, oh, this person's gay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, good story anyway. Instead of most of the characters are like, yo, look at this character. Yo, look at this character. They're they, them, and all this, and they're gay, and there's this, and all that shit. Me and Tash are back together. Shut the hell up. Let go of Tash. Reading an insider interview about what went down at Volition Studios with the disastrous Saints Row reboot from an inside source. This source said that the LGBTQ community within the company was actually pretty small, but
that's exactly what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They were the loudest.
They are the loudest and the most annoying, and the company leadership chose to promote these people into key roles. And that's how you get the absolute dumpster fire of a game that was Saints Row 2022.
Yeah. Like these characters, who the fuck, like, when you see this game, do you ever want to remember these characters later on? Fuck no. Ain't nobody want to remember this guy that has a fucking waffle, milk, and strawberry tattoo. Get the fuck out of here with that stupid haircut.
I think what you have at a lot of these
Steve
game
Urkel
studios
up in this
is
shit.
about 80% of the staff is probably just hetero dudes trying to do their job, but they're afraid of speaking up or saying what they actually think. And then you have the LGBTQ folks making decisions about what kind of game to make. And everything just ends up being safe and soft and sensitive.
These three words have haunted me for the past 4 years. Safe, soft, and inoffensive. This shit is going to give weakness to your children. This shit right here. It's okay to be safe for your children. Got it. But we're not even talking about dangers of violence and shit like that. This safe, soft, and inoffensive shit, this is all towards it's all towards language. It's all towards speech. This is not like you're going downtown and you're going to beat up some kids and shit. This safe, soft, and inoffensive shit is where you're like, oh, you know what safe, soft, and inoffensive is? Imagine you're in a padded room with a straitjacket, and the only thing that you got in there as entertainment is basically just them playing a bunch of ladies just saying "aw" 24/7. That's what it is. Just "aw," and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, it's a cat. It's a kitty. Yeah, cool. Say and then move on. We're not buying the fucking cat. It's that sort of thing. This sort of three things right here is going to tear down children in the future. And we need to stop this shit. We really do. The kids are gonna go into the real world and realize not everything is safe. Not everything is soft, and not everything is, not everything has to be, inoffensive. Things are going to be offensive, and they just work with that. See, it's the amount of shielding when it comes to anybody, even grown-ups. We're talking about games, so it's mostly kids, but also adults. So what the hell are you doing as game developers shielding grown-ups? And I know there's a lot of grooming out there when it comes to like, oh, well, we want to make sure that everybody's safe, including the women and children when they're playing games. Stop with the bullshit. You're just doing this shit to act like you're a good person when you're actually not. This shit right here. It's a false narrative. It's not real. This is not something where they're like, oh, I want to do something good for people. No, it's not. You're not doing anything good for people. How do people learn? When you shield them from everything. How do they learn? How do they grow? Gonna make all the kids turn out like that one kid in Game of Thrones sucking on his mama's titties at the age of 13.
because, oh, we can't hurt anybody's feelings. So, of course, you get these shitty dumpster fire video games that nobody wants to play. After reading a lot of insider interviews at these developers, this is my sense of what has been happening. I also feel like there's this kind of...
Bro, get this fucking picture out of my fucking face. Get this bitch out of my fucking face. What the fuck is this? Bro. I only bought Control and Alan Wake. I'm never buying Alan Wake 2. You've got to be kidding me, Remedy. What a bunch of fucking losers. To go from this psychological horror-esque type of like, oh man, it gives you thought, the ability to think, and then what did they do? They fucking blackface the secondary character in Alan Wake 2, and they put it on the Epic Games Store. They don't even put it in fucking Steam. And the story centers not on Alan Wake, but on the black chick. It's just like, yo, it's Alan Wake 2. And then the game's just like, this is Saga's story. And I'm like, who the fuck is Saga? It's just like, it's just like The Last of Us Part 2. Ooh, I'm gonna go there right now. It is just like The Last of Us Part 2. We all know what happened at the beginning when that bitch up and killed fucking Joel. And I was like, me and you, Ellie, we're gonna kill this bitch. That's what we're gonna do. And I'm like, yo, we're so close to killing this bitch. We're really close. And then out of nowhere, the developers of Naughty Dog grabbed you by the fucking neck and threw you to another story of the bitch that fucking killed Joel. So now you gotta do a whole new story. They gotta shoehorn a whole fucking story on this bitch. They gotta hurry this shit up and be like, do you understand her now? Do you understand how she feels now? Do you get it? And I'm like, why? Why do we have to play this character? You want to know the funny thing is, the character could actually be introduced in a way where you see things through Ellie and Ellie only, and still understand the antagonist, which is that big bitch, whatever the fuck her name is. You can still understand the antagonist without being the antagonist. But they were just like, you thought you were gonna take care of her, but you're not. Get over here, bitch. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Now I'm playing as her. It was wild. I think about that every fucking day. And that's what they did with Alan Wake 2, where they were like, you think this is an Alan Wake story. And you look at the cover of your game and it says Alan Wake 2, and you're like, yeah? Well, it's not. It's about this black bitch. And I'm just like, okay, well, what is she going through? Toxic white men. That's literally what they said at the end. I was just like, what the fuck is this? That's what they said in Alan Wake 2. That bitch just said out of nowhere, yo, it's these white guys. And I was just like, oh no. I mean, you're going to change that character from white to black. Okay, got it. But now you're just gonna be racist to like half of the people in the world? Jesus fucking Christ, not again.
Kind of unholy alliance right now between games journalists, white liberal women at game studios, and the LGBTQ community at game studios. And they all seem to be united around one thing. They actually hate gamers.
Yeah.
And who are gamers? Overwhelmingly, well,
This is us right here. We look like fucking NSYNC. And you want to know the crazy thing is? In NSYNC, there was like one dude, or I think two dudes. One dude was gay in NSYNC. Who cared? Nobody. Nobody cared about the gay dude in NSYNC. We were just like, all of you guys are fantastic. We love your choreography. Sing your song. I want to feel good today. Nobody cared. But now in this world of 2024, they're just like trying to, it's like trying to shove food down a child's mouth. And you're like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? But yeah, they really don't like, they see this picture and they're just like, oh, these motherfuckers, these guys like women, and they're probably fat phobic and shit. And I'm over here looking at them saying that, and I'm like, yes, we are. We don't want to get with fat chicks, but if we have to, we have to. We love games where we're shooting off people's heads. Yes, we like attractive women. Yes. And then they look at us and they're like, yeah, this is why we hate gamers. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I'm just sitting in my room.
Heterosexual dudes like us, of course. This recent Reddit thread was written by an actual game developer and made me realize this.
I read this note and I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. Let him say it.
It reads, headline,
Am I allowed to say this? I kind of hate gamers.
Who the fuck is this guy? Is that him saying it? Is he a developer and that's him? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yo, get your shit together.
I'm a professional game designer, and I'm worried that I'm
how are you a professional game designer when you look like that and you say something like this to your own fans?
starting to hate gamers. Watching the gaming events on YouTube last month with the chat on was extremely disheartening experience. Every time a character that wasn't a cis-het white man appeared on screen, the chats would fill with messages calling the game woke or complaining about DEI.
I want to let you all know something. The only people that are allowed to say the word disheartening are women, my grandma, my mom, my sister, and the women out there, the lovely women out there. You're doing great. I hope you have a wonderful day. You are the only ones allowed to say disheartening. If I have one of my boys come up to me and say disheartening, hey, Mr. Hardcore Mode, you're doing all right, but the way you dress, kind of don't like it. Me and the boys, we kind of find it disheartening that we're not fitting with your vibe. I would punch him in the fucking mouth, and then I would be like, you want to say that again? And then he would be like, I meant to say, you look like shit. Oh, sorry, dude. And of course, I don't want to punch my friend. Well, we dudes, we punch each other all the fucking time. So grow the fuck up if you just heard that. But it's just like, I don't want to hear fucking disheartening from dudes, man. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm just like, what the fuck? If you say disheartening around me and you're a dude, I'm just going to assume you're gay. I'm just going to assume you're gay and be like, all right, this guy walks around like this. Just go, you know. He walks around like this. Got it.
Every game that wasn't a shooter or a hyper-casual competitive online game garnered zzz and boring comments. I've seen people implying that the MC in Fable trailers is ugly because it's a self-insert of some random level designer working at Playground whom they deem
wrong ways to beat Ring. Oh, Elden Ring? Okay. Sorry. And people hating on Dragon Age. Hey, yo, that's us. Yo, we out here. We out here. We exist.
not fuckable enough. I don't know. It's just the internet magnifying negative voices, I guess.
I don't think it's a wrong thing for people to be negative, and especially with this person is definitely not aware of what's going on in the world. And I think a lot of influencers and a lot of streamers that are a lot of left-leaning people either don't care about what's going on the other side of things, or they're in favor of the shit. Like the reason people say there's no white person, you know, the whole DEI and the ESG sort of thing and the Sweet Baby Inc. thing. I mean, if he's not knowledgeable about it, we got it. But it's an entirely different thing when he knows what's going on. Like this person right here probably is probably definitely a game developer. He probably would say something like this and be surrounded by other game developers who are just like, I kind of disagree with you. Because you got to think about it. Like, they're pretty much the minority, but they're the loudest. They're the loudest. And the other majority of people are just like, oh, that's what's going on? They're pissed that there's no white people on it? Man, that's crazy. It's almost like they're kind of right. Like the other developers are like, they just want to make video games. They don't, other developers, actual real developers, do not go up on Reddit and complain like a little bitch. They are grinding. They are like, oh shit, we got to get this shit done at this certain hour. Of course, they got their own lives and they got their own things to do, and they have their own fun, and you know, they have kids and stuff like that. But most developers are just zoned in, and they just do the best that they can. A lot of, and you know this because some developers will be like, what's going on with what political thing that's going on with games? Oh, I don't know, I just make the games. A lot of them go through that. A lot of them go through it. He's like, oh, I didn't know, I was just making video games. I feel sorry for those types of people. Like they didn't know, but they kind of see how people would be kind of pissed off.
Doing what it does best. But it's making me real tired of gamers.
So at this point, it seems that games journalists and all of the liberal LGBT mafia that work at game studios actually hate their audience.
Yep.
And this is a comment I keep reading from you guys again and again.
I think this is great that they tote, and this is a perfect picture, because it's just like, yo, love is everywhere. Try to understand people. You know, let's be diverse. Let's open ourselves. We're here and we're queer. And you go up to them and you tell them, I have some disagreements. And then and then violence. And then out of nowhere, the love is gone. All that stuff out of nowhere. It's just, woo, it just faded away. Violence, just violence. Meanwhile, regular people, if somebody disagrees with regular people, what do regular people do? Okay, it's not something I would do, but okay. This is why I love regular people. I love them.
I swear they literally hate us. They seem to be dead set on giving their audience exactly what we don't want. How long is your business going to be open if you're dead set on not giving the customer what they want?
That's sad.
This is why when skanks like Alyssa Mercante are crying about Kotaku shutting down and losing their job.
That dog is like, free me. Free me. I don't like peanut butter anymore. Free me. Get that dog out of there. Send a rescue squad. I don't want any more peanut butter.
Jobs, and game studios are going under because they were associated with Sweet Baby Inc. I just laugh.
I mean,
let them burn. Let all these companies burn.
It sucks.
Who don't know how to give the audience. The wonderful irony in all this is that it's the very games that the woke cancel mob has tried to cancel that seem to do the best. Remember Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah, men who dress in women's clothes tried to get it canceled. Instead, the games are how the woke mob...
I'm sorry. I had to quickly get out of that. I'm sorry. I don't want to see that, but I did want to talk about Hogwarts. Hogwarts sold a lot because people didn't care about that other shit. All we wanted to do was go, woo, Wingardium Leviosa, take that, Professor Snape. Ooh, I can speak Parseltongue. We didn't care about any of that shit. Most of us care about J.K. Rowling. Most of us do. We were like, J.K. Rowling, you made this? Awesome. And the loud minority are just like, fuck that bitch. And I'm like, okay. All right, you don't like her. And then some of them have resorted to, if she ever comes here, I'm killing her. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What happened to the love LGBTQ LMNOP shit? I thought I was the normal bad guy that loves girls with fat asses and titties, and I'm the bigot with the Trump hat. I'm the bigot with the Trump hat, and I'm telling you to not be violent? What is going on? By the way, we're probably going to play Hogwarts Legacy and go from beginning, middle to end because we never finished that game.
Mob tried to accuse FromSoft games of having, quote, problematic depictions of women.
Nobody heard this story, by the way. We skipped over this fucking stupid story about Elden Ring's problematic female representation shit because, one, they're fucking wrong because there's so many women out there, and we've all seen the Elden Ring cosplays, okay? We've all seen them. Just nod your head, don't even answer, okay? We've seen them? All right. So not only do the men disagree with you, but the women disagree with you. Because do I have to list out all the bitches that are hot? Problematic female represent. Wait. Are you saying Elden Ring's problematic female representation? Oh, so it's not the fact that there's that there's no females. They know that there's females there, but there's no powerful, strong females that are probably black and fucking brown and bullshit. I see. So they have to be the most powerful, they have to have the most gains, and they have to be the most ugly and all this shit. I mean, I don't know why they're looking at it like that. That's fucking weird because nobody agrees with you. This review right here, I don't know where it came from. Oh, it came from The Escapist. Okay, that's a dropping channel on YouTube, so nobody really cares about them. Hell, nobody cares about the other one that left. The other one. But yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Women? Oops, sold 25 million copies. At this point, making an offensive game seems to guarantee that game's success.
Exactly.
We could talk about Stellar Blade, pissing off all of the liberal progressives, and yet everybody went out and bought it. Okay.
You remember that farm game that was like a sort of like indie sort of farm survival game? And they said, hey, we got jiggle physics coming right up on this game. And Alyssa Mercante and all her fucking freaks just came on there and started blasting him with offensive bullshit on his Discord. And they were like, we're developers. I'm sorry this happened. And what they did was they dialed it back, and Alyssa Mercante tried to change the narrative and make him like apologize and actually bash the gamers. But he actually took that away and actually did a short little interview with one of my favorite YouTubers. And what they did was he completely apologized and took back everything that he just said, and he was like, yo, all that apology stuff, I didn't write that was Kotaku. And he's like, we're still gonna have jiggle physics, we're fine, I just want to stay away from this politics stuff, and we just want to make games, and this is a little overwhelming for the game developers. So right now what he did was he took, like a man should, all the stuff that the community manager went through with all the backlash with the whole titty physics that they just did on Twitter. He was like, okay, all that unnecessary crazy bullshit, give it to me. And I was like, oh, that dude seems cool. So I still got that on wish list, so we'll play that. And I find that game really kind of cool. I think it's called Farmlands or something, but I find that really interesting that he was like, whoa, this is not what's happening. You know, we're not bashing gamers and we're not taking back what we did. We're still going ahead with jiggle physics for the farm game. And I'm like, cool, awesome.
Okay, so in the rest of this video, I want to give you 4 examples of a game or game series going from masculine to feminine or gay.
Don't say
and
Wolfenstein.
It basically either killed or ruined the franchise.
Oh, Wolfenstein.
Number 1, Ubisoft and Red Storm Entertainment. So Red Storm Entertainment was a video game company founded by the legendary Tom Clancy to make Tom Clancy video games. He sold the company to Ubisoft in the year 2000, and Ubisoft in the 2000s actually had some balls and made...
This sucks because back then Ubisoft had like the gonads. They had shit. They had the good shit. This was Ubisoft back in the day. And then they realized, I think this was after the CEO changed or something. This is probably around 2014, maybe 15. Ubisoft just fucking changed. Ubisoft went from like that gritty shit to like, yes. And also, some of them don't know how to make video games. That too. Also, some of their gameplay sucks. That too.
Some of the manliest games you've ever seen. There were the Splinter Cell games, the Ghost.
How could you not make another Splinter Cell game? So many people like Splinter Cell. How could you drop on Splinter Cell and say, hey, let's do Rainbow Six Siege for another 5 years? How? Let's go. Let's continue.
Recon games, the Rainbow Six games, and the Far Cry games. All of these games pretty much feature exclusively men, and these IPs in the 2000s had so much
He's going to talk about
testosterone, just a single glance from a woman in their direction would get her pregnant. I mean, motherfucking Sam Fisher, come on.
Yep.
The dude is the ultimate Giga Chad. Scott Mitchell in Ghost Recon. Now, you pick your own character in Far Cry 2, but it's definitely a manly game that will put hair on your chest. So what is Red Storm Entertainment up to today? Well, I recently saw that Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland is being led by a man who dresses in women's clothes in his free time.
Yeah.
Now, look, I don't give a shit if you want to identify as a dragon and go around laying magic eggs, but can we agree that the least masculine thing on earth you can do is dress in women's clothes?
Yeah.
Tom Clancy would be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew the absolute
disaster
he would. That Red Storm Entertainment had become. Number 2, Wolfenstein.
I think we know.
So I was recently playing Wolfenstein The New Order for the first time, which came out in 2014. And I have to say, of all the games I was sure were going to avoid woke Western progressivism,
then they made that
this game was pretty high up there.
Young
the first 3 entries
Sons
of the
or whatever
reboot were all fantastic. They had the badass BJ Blazkowicz, an absolute unit, as the main character, ripping apart entire armies of Nazis with the sexy and smart Anya as his arm candy and wife. Machine Game's first 3 Wolfenstein entries, which came out in 2014, 2015, and 2017, are all great. They have normal men and women doing normal shit in them. Awesome. But of course, the woke mob had to get involved somehow. So you have a beloved series with a beloved, tough, male, manly main character. Do you suppose it's a good idea to kill off that guy and replace him with cringy girl boss characters?
Yeah, that really, they were cringy as fuck. Also, look how badass old Wolfenstein was. They are pulling out fucking slaves. They are literally pulling out fucking slaves, to go to war. And this bitch, this Nazi bitch, finds one of the soldiers who's like, Can I bring my baby in? Please save my baby. And he's like, no, we don't need this. She picks it up like it's human garbage. And she's like, I'll throw this away somewhere else. Watch.
Of course, the woke mob had to get involved somehow. So you have a beloved series with a beloved, tough, manly main character.
See?
Do you suppose it's a good idea to kill off that guy and replace him with...
See, that's something that you'll always remember and be like, what the fuck? Now the games that you see nowadays, you will just literally it'll go through your head and you'll be like, what game did I play? Old games is gourmet food. Meanwhile, games today is Burger King. I said it. Games today are Burger King. Ain't nobody want to go there. And if they do, I mean, it was the closest thing to you at the time when you were driving.
Cringy girl boss characters. Wolfenstein Youngblood came out in 2019, and it's an absolute tone-deaf disaster.
I really thought it was going to be good, judging from this wallpaper, and I thought these chicks were going to be badass. Turns out they're fucking idiots.
So many modern video games, I find myself asking, who wanted this? Who asked for this? I often ask the same thing of the new Star Wars shows by Kathleen Kennedy as well. The Wolfenstein reboot had the perfect synergy of story and gameplay. You are BJ Blazkowicz, unleashing his rage on the Nazis for killing everyone he loved. You see this come across in his brutal assassinations, like sticking a rusty pipe through the eye socket of an SS Waffen commander. But the setup to Wolfenstein Youngblood is incredibly cringe. In it, you play as BJ's daughters, and they're honestly nothing like him. The first time you kill somebody, they don't really want to do it. And when they finally kill the guy, they have to have lattes and talk about it afterwards. Youngblood is a perfect example of how a cutscene can go so wrong in a game. BJ's setup is perfect and explains to you why you're doing the actions you're doing. BJ's daughters, however, are acting like they're in an episode of Big Bang Theory the whole time. But they just happen to be killing Nazis and isn't this so funny? It's tonally all over the place and just so full of cringy and awful cinematics, which is ironic because the cinematics in the first 3 games were like so good and short, and they got to the point and they were really emotional and impactful. Example number 3, Gears of War. For a full explanation.
The girl bossing of Gears. I remember this bullshit. You remember when I was talking about like Marcus is Gears of War along with Dom, Cole, and his boys? And then they just out of nowhere said, this girl's the key to everything. And I'm like, what? Who's the key to everything? What? Yeah, she's got some dark mystery. And I'm like,
of how the woke mob girl bossed Gears of War. See my video on that game, but I'll keep this short. The first 3 Gears games are an incredible trilogy focusing on the bonds and brotherhood between men. They're incredibly masculine games, focusing on duty and sacrifice and military.
You remember in Gears of War when you literally, I think one character that you liked died, and you thought that character was not going to die, and as you went through Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, you kept saying to yourself, which one of my boys is going, man? Which one of my boys is going? That was an awesome feeling.
Military orders. And I know some of you hate this, but for 10,000 years, it's only been men fighting wars. Sorry.
Yeah.
The first 3 games focus on Marcus, Dom, Cole, and Baird and tell a masculine story of brotherhood. Well, the progressive woke mob somehow got to Gears of War, and Gears 4 and 5 are about sisterhood, motherhood, being a traitor, and what it feels like to be a woman.
Yeah, being a traitor.
They introduced the character of Kate Diaz, who I don't think anybody gives a single fuck about.
I don't give a fuck about that bitch. What they should
have done is put Kate in a spin-off game, not a mainline Gears entry.
I argue they shouldn't have brought her into the game, period. She should have been in the back. Like, say 2 things and shut up.
But here's the problem, of course. Nobody would have bought it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Gears 4 and 5 are basically girl boss, feminist Gears of War.
You know which girl I remembered in Gears of War? Fucking Marcus's wife. She was badass.
And any masculine story about men is put on the back burner. Of course, the games include Baird and Marcus in them, but they're really on the back burner. And Gears is now about Kate Diaz, who I've never talked to a Gears fan even cares about.
Nope, nobody does.
Moving on. Example number 4, the Saints Row reboot.
Yeah.
Saints Row spent 10 years building up characters and building up a very distinctive and edgy and male sense of humor. It's the kind of stuff you and the guys would laugh at. Some of the recurring characters in Saints Row are Johnny Gat, Julius, Aisha, Shondi, and several others. In these games, the men are men and the women are women. Johnny is edgy and hilarious and always has a hot chick on his arm. The humor is crude and hilarious, and the Saints are always getting into trouble. So what went wrong with the reboot?
I kind of like the first 2, but I'm okay with the last 5. The last 3. They're good.
Well, the woke 2022 reboot thought it was a good idea to kill off every single character from the old Saints Row games.
Even look good
and
either.
I guess they thought we would be cool with that. But don't worry, all of the beloved characters you've come to know and love have been replaced with tokenistic characters from a literal seminar on diversity.
Like I said,
the gay Asian man, the girl boss lesbian, another girl boss lesbian,
2
and the
girl
gay
boss
black
lesbians.
guy. The LGBTQ mafia didn't just kill Saints Row, they crucified it on a rainbow flag. And this is what you get, guys. This is what you fuckers get for supporting these people.
Yep.
They turn out shitty games that aren't funny, that aren't cool.
I must stress this so much. I don't know why these... I feel like that there are some gay dudes out there that are funny, but it's just when you're a game developer and you're all about this gay shit, I'm just like, you're going to make it funny at least, right? And I'm just like, they're not going to make it funny. There's some good ass gay, like comedians out there, and the game devs are like, oh, where is it? And I'm like, you don't see it.
That aren't masculine. So stop hiring these people. Game developers need to stop putting gay stuff.
Are you fucking kidding me? Did she do that? Did she do that?
So stop hiring.
She hung up her pistol on the fucking coat hanger? Yeah, your game failed.
These people. Game developers need to stop putting gay stuff in games, and they need to fire every liberal white woman if they want us to ever buy a game
And
again.
the black women too.
I'm serious.
I'm fine with
we are
that.
done with this shit. We're not buying these games. Like Phil Spencer is out here complaining about how people aren't spending as much money on games anymore.
I heard about that. What did exactly did he say? I heard that Phil Spencer's been pissing me off lately. But what did he say?
I guarantee if you give us hetero dudes hot chicks in games again and manly men, you will see sales go through the roof. Bring back the glory days of video games. I have this theory that in a few years we're going to see a turn back to the golden era of video games, and people are going to start buying games again. I recently saw this crazy chart from 2023 that basically showed that people are only playing old games these days. Nobody wants to play anything that's new out right now.
Wait, is this from Kotaku? Yeah, Kotaku. Yeah, you might want to realize something. You might want to learn something. Learn something today. Come on now.
Now, because it's all woke and it all sucks so bad. So anyway, guys, let's all hope there's a return of masculine characters in games again at some point that we can relate to. All right, I'm out.
Awesome video. This guy's name is Andy Pants Gaming. Give him a like. Awesome video. Who killed masculinity in video games? Really good video. Awesome dude. I would love to have a drink with this dude.